Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome to the Board of Aldermen's meeting for Monday, December 16th. First order of business are minutes of the previous meeting of December 2nd and the 11th, which was our special board meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any changes? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We are outside the rail to anyone to address the board on matters not on the agenda. Yes, sir. If you would take your name, see the podium and your name and address, Jack, for the record, please.
Jack Crowther, 24 Tuttle Meadow Drive. I meant to make these remarks to the Public Works Committee at their budget meeting, but I had to leave and I missed the opportunity, so I'll present them here. My recommendation, my request, my plea is that the board delete $7,500 from the water department budget that is allocated for fluoridation of the public water supply. In doing so, the board would not only save $7,500 in what seems to be a very tight budget year, but also end a program that I believe to be obsolete and ill-advised. Now, over the last few years, I've been presenting from this spot and sending to the board, sometimes by email, sometimes by snail mail, reports on the science of fluoride and the possible or likely harms that can occur from fluoridation. I don't know how much of an impact they've had. I trust they've at least raised your consciousness about this issue and caused you to believe that this is definitely an issue with two sides to it. Over the years, the research has indicated a correlation between fluoride ingestion and such things as dental fluorosis, the spotting and staining of the teeth, hypothyroidism, more recently a loss of IQ, depending on the exposure of the mothers to fluoride, and also the incidence of ADHD. Most recently, in the last couple of years, have been studies that focused on the loss of IQ among children whose mothers were exposed to fluoride, often at levels of fluoride that are found in fluoridated water systems. These losses in the range of various ranges, but in the range of maybe 5 points are nothing to be dismissed lightly. That's the last thing young children need growing up, is to have their brains affected. So I'm aware of the political past of this issue in Rutland. In particular, I think the vote in 2016 that endorsed fluoridation by a 3-2 margin probably weighs heavily from the political standpoint. People are, an elected official would be reluctant to, without sufficient cause, go against the express will of the majority. But in this case, I would like to make the case that the board has full authority to act on its own judgment and make a change, put a stop to this program, or even just suspend it until further evidence is evaluated. There's a principle in modern medicine, some of you are in the medical field, called informed consent, which says that a patient cannot be forced to undergo treatment or take a medicine that they do not wish to take, or a treatment that they wish to follow. Fluoride is a drug. It is a substance that's designed to treat a disease, namely tooth decay. That, in the view of the Food and Drug Administration, makes it a drug. It is not a nutrient. It is not something the human body requires to enjoy health. So, to my way of looking at it, by fluoridating the public water supply, which is supported by about 60% of the people, opposed by 40%, putting it in the water supply is sort of coercing the 40% to take a drug that they do not wish to take. Now, certainly you can buy spring water. You can get yourself for a couple $100 a reverse osmosis water system, but this is at least inconvenient and not affordable to everyone. So, to my point of view, the fluoridation of the public water supply is an unethical practice, even though it is widespread in this country. So, basically, that's my pitch. I leave you with it. I will continue to bring science to your attention as it emerges, but I think, now is perhaps an opportune time to if not suspend the program for all time, at least to take the money out of the budget, call a halt, and perhaps reassess the evidence. And I have, because of my involvement in this issue, I am in touch with people who would be glad to come to Rutland and make a more forceful case, because they work with this issue all the time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Yes. Yeah. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Kevin Loso. I'm the Executive Director of the Rutland Housing Authority. I'm here with you tonight once again to talk about the Hickory Street neighborhood, which over the last 11 years we have redeveloped the old Forest Park site into what is today, I believe, one of the jewels of the crown of Rutland City. We recognize that this accomplishment would not have been possible without the active support of the City of Rutland. I dare say that every department in City Hall played a hand in getting us here today, whether it was the more obvious ones like the Department of Public Works and Building and Zoning, and the Rutland Redevelopment Authority, but it also includes, of course, the City Attorney, and I'm not going to list them all because you know who they are, but suffice to say that everyone really stepped to the plate and helped make this happen. I want to take just a moment to present a token of our appreciation, and I'd ask that Mayor Allaire and Brennan Duffy come forward and accept it on behalf of the city. I'd like to do the unveiling. Go ahead and tear into it. There it is. Totally unexpected. I did not know this is.
It's Christmas time.
It is Christmas time. It's very.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
So you may recognize this as the painting that Peter Huntoon did in honor of the completion of the Hickory Street development, Hickory Street neighborhood, as well as the cover of this year's city annual report. We appreciate Mayor Allaire's decision to make that happen. So thank you again for everything. Let me express my heartfelt appreciation to everyone, and particularly the mayor and the redevelopment authority, who really supported this project through to completion. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. All right. Is there anyone else outside the rail to address the board matters not on the agenda? Yes, sir, your name and address for the record, please. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Charles Joyson, 210 Lincoln Avenue. My understanding is that 2 trainers have been contacted for implicit bias training in February or March. And I appreciate the steps that the board has taken, and I'm looking forward to any follow-through, specifically how the information from the workshop will redound on future policy and decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else outside the rail? Seeing none, we're moving on to communications from the mayor. We need to untable the mayor appointment to the RRA board, Tiffany Keune.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries, and we need a,
Move to circulate the ballot box, Madam Chairman.
Second.
there's a motion to circulate the ballot box, and it's been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We'll ask the clerk to circulate the ballot box and for the city attorney to count. While we're waiting for that, we'll wait till you go around. Is there any other additions or deletions? I'm sorry, we're still on the mayor. Mayor O'Leary, is there anything else from you?
I just have one quick thing. I wasn't going to mention it, but since you got a little bit of time.
Sure.
This is just a shout out to the rec department and the great job they've done down at CSJ. Our community center had an opportunity to actually go down there on Friday, take a look around, and at the basketball game, there was a tournament down there on Saturday, all day long. And although the Red Raiders fell a little short with their game against CVU, much bigger and better, or I don't know about better, but bigger team, I wanted to just report that the facility was well-run, clean. The people that were experiencing it for the first time really enjoyed the venue, parking, where they had police officers directing people where to park, and it was just a well-run tournament, and at least for the part that I was there too. So I wanted to report that to the board.
Great, thank you. Any questions for the mayor? Moving on. Okay. We'll wait just a moment for city attorney to finish
Chair?
his tabulation. Yes.
Following up on that real quick, they're
Sure.
going to be playing this coming Saturday also. It's a continuation of the same tournament that the mayor was just talking about. They'll be playing Saturday all day there too, so
Great, thank you very much.
should be another splendid day.
Okay, and the mayor's appointment of Tiffany was approved to the RRA board by 10 yes and 1 no. All right, so we are on to additions and deletions to the agenda. We have one, which is our Public Works Committee. If you could move that.
So moved. Second.
Is there any debate on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries, and we need to add an executive session, I believe.
Yep, regarding pending litigation.
Okay, if we can
So
move.
moved.
Second.
Any debate on the motion to add? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Anything else? Seeing none. We are on to reports and letters from department heads and officials. First is Brennan Duffy, RRA Director, BIAP recommendation, Juniper, I can't say that. Why can't I say that? Rising Bakery.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I missed my moment there. I just feel like we ought to call some attention to the hard work that Kevin Loso put into that
Absolutely,
project.
yes.
As he mentioned, that was 11 years. He shepherded that through. He spent an undue amount of time putting all those financial pieces together to make that such a successful project. So I wish I had said that before he left, but he did a great job with that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brennan.
So yes, we have another request for a grant through the BIAP program for $5,000, and this is coming from Jupiter Rising Bakery. Our applicant, Tina Clerk, is here with us today if anybody has questions about this. But basically, she is going to be relocating from her previous space in the House Center to a vacant storefront at 74 Merchants Row, which was the old Body Tech space. I believe that's been vacant now for about a decade, so it's great to see her looking to move into that space. She's going to be looking to hire 2 full-time employees and several part-time employees as she gets up and running, and looking to be open here before the holidays. So the RA reviewed this. She meets the criteria for the program, and the recommendation is to offer her a $5,000 grant through the BIAP program to help offset some of the significant investment she's making there.
Okay, so we need a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Alderman Wickham?
Move to approve the $5,000 BIAP grant for Jupiter Rising Bakery.
Second.
Any debate on that motion? Would you like to address the board at all? You don't have to.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I wish I could bring everybody donuts.
You do too.
Wednesday's a good opportunity.
Talk to the clerk. Wednesday, I won't be set up until Friday.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Well, welcome downtown.
Thank you
Glad to
very
have
much.
you.
Appreciate that.
So the motion on the floor is to approve the BIAP for $5,000, been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else?
Thank you. I will just add, I've been here a half hour ago, and I've never seen the city look this festive and this nice as it does this year. I don't know if there are just many more lights or I'm just noticing it, but it really looked fantastic. So to the people involved with that, great job.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas. Next up is James Rotondo, City Engineer, Combined Sewer Overflow Long-Term Control Plan.
Yes, thank you. So I'm requesting the board tonight to approve the Step 1 Engineering Services Agreement with Weston and Sampson for feasibility and planning services for the Combined Sewer Overflow Long-Term Control Plan in the amount of $336,400 with the final form of the ESA to be approved by the city engineer. And just to give you a little bit of background, we've been working with the state on this since probably April. And the state finally approved the scope of work last Friday. And you probably remember that I came in, I believe in September, and you approved, the next thing on the agenda is the application for the loan, but you had approved that, at that time we had a draft ESA, and the cost we estimated at $300,000. As the state kept reviewing our scope of work, it got more robust, and the $336,400 is the final cost.
Okay. So, Alderman Mattis?
A motion to suspend the rules?
Second.
All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Alderman Mattis?
And I move that the board approve the Step 1 Engineering Services Agreement with Weston and Sampson for feasibility and planning services for the Combined Sewer Overflow Long-Term Control Plan in the amount of $336,400 with the final form of the ESA to be approved by the city engineer.
Second.
Any debate on that motion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Jim?
Okay, so this is the second part, and I'm asking the board to approve and circulate for signatures the revised Clean Water State Revolving Fund Step 1 loan application, again, for the revised amount of $336,400. And again, as I said, the board approved the initial loan September 3rd, 2019.
I move to suspend the rules?
Second.
All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Alderman Mattis?
And I move that the board approve and circulate for signature the revised Clean Water State Revolving Fund Step 1 loan application for the Combined Sewer Overflow Long-Term Control Plan in the amount of $336,400.
Second.
Any debate on that motion?
Circulate for signature.
Signature, yeah, right. The motion is to circulate for signature, right.
If I may. So their name is printed here. They need to sign on the left-hand side.
Okay. So your name is on the right, signature goes on the left, okay?
Name's on the right, signature on the left.
All those, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Anything else?
That is it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next, we have Mary Markowski. It's not on your agenda. Mary just has the treasurer's report for us, and she's asked that, she had emailed it out to us, so we have copies, and the motion is just to receive and place on file.
So moved.
Second.
Any debate on the motion to receive and file? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And last, we have Clerk Heck, Board of Aldermen's meeting changes for 2020. This is my packet.
I think it's in the.
One little page. Okay. So, per our past practice at the beginning of each new year, we need to make changes to several of our regular scheduled Board of Aldermen's meeting that may fall on a holiday Monday. He is requesting that the board move to reschedule the board meetings on Monday, January 20th to Tuesday, the 21st, and the meeting on Monday, February 17th to Tuesday, February 21st. That makes no sense. Because we're going from Monday, the 17th, Monday, February 17th to Tuesday.
If it's the 20th.
Wouldn't it be the 18th? I don't know.
I did that either.
And then Monday, September 7th to Tuesday, September 8th. So basically, we're taking the January holiday, Martin Luther King, the President's Day, and Labor Day, and moving them from Monday to Tuesday. Any objection? We need to suspend the rules.
So moved.
All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Alderman Mattis?
And I move that we change the meeting dates of January 20th to January 21st, February 17th to February 18th, and September 7th to September 8th, 2020.
Thank you.
Second.
Any debate on that motion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Madam President, could I ask the board a quick question? Did you
Certainly.
folks get your Board of Aldermen's packet?
No, all we got was this.
All we got was just, didn't get the whole thing, but I got the piece from the.
What I'd like to do is just apologize. We had our server email updated, and when I was off having my hip replaced, apparently I have files that are built, city employees, city department heads, aldermen. For some reason, it didn't transfer that information over, and when I went in to send out packets, I have to at least, like Alderman Gillum, I'd have to put you in at least one time before it would update my new contacts list. So I apologize for that. I just noticed that this past week, but if you guys don't get something out of the ordinary, please give me a call and let me know, because I want to make sure that you're getting what you're supposed to get. I think it's corrected, but moving forward here, I just realized that this past week. I'm not sure why that happened, but it did very, actually, Markowski and I were discussing that, trying to figure out why some of the things went through and did go through as far as it is. But I just want to explain that to you. The packets did go out. Apparently, they just let it go on the address, so I'm going to take a look at that picture.
Right, well, I think 2 weeks ago, we were kind of light on the agenda, so we didn't question it. And then you had sent out the city engineer's information.
Right, it was separate, yeah.
And there was really nothing else on the agenda to speak of, so I don't think that's why it was.
Yeah, Mary's came in separate too.
You know, if there was a lot and we didn't receive it, then it probably would have been a discussion for
That
us.
electronic packet I do send out to everybody on
Okay.
Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
No matter what.
So we'll keep an eye on that to make sure that it's coming through. All right, so we are on to reports from standing committees, and we have a Public Works Committee report from Alderman Clifford.
Did you vote on the
Yes.
changing of the
Yes.
dates? Oh, no.
Yes, we just, and then Henry,
He's voting no.
oh, you voted no? You're voting no?
Okay, yes, I'm voting no. I didn't hear you vote on that, I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Alderman Clifford has the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I called the Public Works Committee with December 9th, 2019. I called the meeting to order at 5:30. Present were committee members Torrey, Clifford, Tomlin, Mattis, and Gillum. Other aldermen present were President Davis, DePoy, Reveal, Humphrey, and Whitcomb. Also present were Attorney Bloomer, Treasurer Markowski, Commissioner Wenberg, Business Manager Garuso, Assistant Treasurer Holmquist, Engineer Rotondo, Associate Engineer Gillen, Project Manager Sears, and Gordon Gachillo from the Herald. I invited Jim Rotondo to present the Streets and Sidewalks bond proposal. Engineer Rotondo said that the proposed bond would include $4 million in road paving and related work, and $1 million in sidewalk work for the total request of $5 million. This would be over and above the $500,000 annually budgeted for paving and $70,000 to $70,000 for concrete, which supports sidewalks and curbs. Engineer Rotondo walked through a PowerPoint presentation explaining the need and justification for the bond request. He explained that the current level of paving funding allows only 2 to 3 miles of roadway to be rehabilitated annually, which means the treatment cycle for any roads is between 25 and 38 years. He provided a chart showing the current cost to treat all roads in need of work at $8,743,390. Mr. Rotondo explained that the selection of the streets to be treated under the bond would be a combination of some of the roads that have failed, some that needed pavement rehabilitation, and some that only needed pavement preservation. The condition of the underground utilities will be considered, and an effort will be made to ensure the equitable distribution of projects through all city quadrants. Mr. Rotondo explained the principle of the pavement asset management, which reduces costs by concentrating on pavement preservation, essentially extending the life of the pavement as long as possible and avoiding costly treatments such as rehabilitation and reconstruction. The plan would be to do complete projects, including water and sewer work if needed, and incorporate complete street features and sidewalk work. Sidewalk replacements and extensions have been covered by a small annual appropriation and by including the work in multiple water and sewer projects in recent years. The engineering division will update the 2013 sidewalk inventory report and solicit input from the CARE committee and the public in selecting project locations. As is the case with streets, sidewalk projects will also be considered using asset management practices. Bond funds would be used over a 5-year period, similar to the bridge bonds that we have approved in the past. The city treasurer has projected that a 30-year, $5 million bond would cost $300,000 per year in early years and decline over time. This would add $45 per year to the property taxes on a house assessed at $150,000. Alderman Ettore asked where the $5 million amount came from. Mayor Allaire said it was simply chosen to be big enough to make a significant difference, but hopefully affordable to most taxpayers. Alderman Ettore also asked whether there would be additional bonds for related water and sewer infrastructure, and Engineer Rotondo explained that these would be proposed separately based upon the need and funding availability from the state. Alderman Tomala said that the cost of ongoing preventative maintenance needed to be incorporated into the bond. And Alderman DePoy said a long-term plan to properly fund needed maintenance should be developed. Alderwoman Humphrey asked if there was something coming off the bond schedule that would be offset the new bond, that would offset the new bond payment to cost of the taxpayers. And Treasurer Markowski answered that the City Hall bond was being retired this year, but other recently approved bonds would take its place. Alderman Ettore asked if there was some opportunity to incorporate some workforce development component into the projects to be funded. After some discussion, Commissioner Wenberg was given an opportunity to summarize changes in the general fund budget for the Department of Public Works, which will be considered by the committee this coming Wednesday. Alderman Mattis moved to adjourn the meeting to Wednesday at 5:30. The meeting was adjourned at 7:28, and this is for information only.
Is there any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions of Alderman Clifford? Seeing none. Are there any other select committee reports? Representatives? We have no, I'm sorry, Alderman Ryan?
Yeah, I just wanted to announce that Rutland City Police Department had 2 full-time officers sworn in at the last commission meeting, Officer Avery Snyder and Officer Dan Blanchard.
Great, thank you very much. Any other reports of representatives? Petitions, letters, and miscellaneous communications, we have none, nothing under the Board of Control Commissioners. So we are at unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business to come before the board? Seeing none, we're under miscellaneous motions, resolutions, new business. Is there any new business to come before the board? Seeing none. So we will need a motion to go into executive session. But first, let's take the opportunity to wish the public happy holidays Merry Christmas. We hope that you have a safe and happy holiday. Attorney Boomer.
All right. Motion to find that premature general public knowledge regarding pending litigation to which the city is a party would clearly place the city at a substantial disadvantage because the discussion will divulge the city's strategy in such pending litigation and will include confidential attorney-client communications made for the purpose of providing professional legal services to the city.
So moved.
Second.
Any debate on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And a motion to enter into executive session with the inclusion of the city attorney, commissioner of public works, treasurer, and mayor to discuss pending litigation as allowed under Title I, Section 313A1E and Section 313A1F.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any other debate? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. We'll just stand down while we clear the room.